Welcome to the Charleston CFO Council. This organization was co-founded in 2015 by Robert Bendetti and Mark Carmichael in order to provide a networking and educational forum for senior financial executives to share best practices, to discuss current financial issues, and to learn about current topics related to the performance of their job.
Mike, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. You're the second interview. You're the second to ever meet a member. I appreciate you doing this. And for a little bit of an introduction, Mike Gottlieb is the CFO at Concept Solutions, another defense contractor like where I work. And something interesting that I know about you is you are a big car guy, another Corvette owner. I've been on the road with you before, and you've got a new Corvette. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I bought a 2019 L3. The L3 is the package. It's loaded for everything that they put on a Corvette, other than, of course, if they were to do something to the engine. But with 455 stock horsepower, you really don't need anything in the engine. But the way I got it is when you and I went to that shindig out in Bowling Green, my wife kept saying, well, that car's shinier and that car does this. And I kept saying, well, ours is 17 years old. She goes, well, we need a new one. So we went out and bought a new one. They are, you've got a C7. They are something else. They really are.
Well, let's start. First question is, what is your favorite professional or business book and why?
It's the book by Collins, Good to Great. And it very simply, in it, he has his analogy of getting the right people on the bus, which also means making sure the wrong people aren't on the bus. And I don't know about you, but in my career, I found companies too often, too slow in making sure the right people are on the bus. They unfortunately allow the wrong people to stay on the bus for way too long. And fortunately, where I lived mostly my career up in Northern Virginia, you didn't have to worry about kicking somebody off the bus. They were going to get another job in a few weeks. So you just get the wrong people off and go out and find the right people and get them on. And I thought that was great advice in his book.
What's the best business advice you've ever received?
Oh, I love this question. And because I was reading the questions aloud to my wife the other day, and she laughed because she knew what it should be. And it is this. It was from her. And it was back in about 1984-5. I had hired a fellow to be the manager of accounting that was screwing up our books like you would not believe. Much bigger company back then. He was having liabilities go to infinity and the assets go to infinity instead of offsetting them. And I was telling her about it. She said, you better do something to him before they decide to do it to you. And that is really good business advice. Is again, it's sort of like the right people off the bus. If you've got a weak link, get rid of the weak link, because the weak link will drag down the entire department organization. And you have to worry about your company first, your own tenure second, and then, of course, all the people that are involved as well. So that's good advice. Don't let it happen to you.
What is something that you've recently started doing or a tool you've recently started using that you think is very beneficial?
Well, I'm hoping that it's very beneficial. I know that you guys use Costpoint, and our company is in the process of converting the old Deltek GCS system, which, of course, to the rest of the CFO Council means nothing. But a very excellent system, but antiquated, no longer supported. So we're going to Costpoint, which has an incredible amount of robust capabilities. And it's sort of like the Spider-Man thing. With great responsibility comes great power. With great power in an accounting system comes great responsibility to use it, to set it up correctly, and then make sure everybody avails themselves of what it has. Otherwise, you just wasted a bunch of money.
What is the best part of your current job?
The best part of my current job is what I've said about the three partners for whom I work for over 10 years now. They do not waste my time. Unfortunately, us as CFOs, you get into a lot of the paralysis by analysis. People, spend all this time, I call it chasing nickels and dimes. Like, why are we spending so much on sodas? Or we had 5 memberships last year. What's up with that? It's go after the big dollars, go after the big results, and the rest of the stuff will fall into place. And these guys are excellent at that. I don't think in 10 years have wasted 2 minutes of my time trying to figure out the DNA. we have our eyes set on the big picture, and that really, really is major in my opinion.
What's something about you that I didn't mention that you would like to share?
I'm a rock and roll freak. I mean, we've discussed before. One of these days, I'll get you to come with me to one of the things at the music farm where you stand and your feet stick to the floor and your ears pop and your nose bleeds. I mean, I may be turning 65 in a week, but you know, I was raised, you know, in the late 60s, early 70s on music, and where, you know, everybody complained that it was too loud, and except those of us that went. And it still can't be too loud, too raucous. You know, the bass drum should make your chest pound. So I just love that. Can't get enough of it.
Wow, I had no idea. I knew you liked music, but not that loud, that ruckus.
Well, I do appreciate all music. I mean, I loved going to the opera when it was at the Gilliard, and I'll even watch one on TV and stuff. But, you know, at heart, I'm a rock and roll nut.
Last question, Mike. What question did I not ask that I should have, and what's your answer?
That's a good question, because I really hadn't thought in those terms. But I think it would be like, what do you see as far as like being a chief financial officer, and before that a director and a VP and a manager? And what it is really passing it forward. We get in a position of leadership, of management, of supervisory, and we have younger people that come up, and it's our responsibility to help them so that if they want to become one of us, they can, or whatever that is that they do want to be, they can become. I am, in my career, most proud of the people that I've hired that have gone on to do wonderful and great things. I mean, my biggest claim to fame is I hired the guy who's now the president of Mantech International. And I hired him when he was like 25 years old as just a financial analyst. And hopefully there was one thing that maybe he picked up from me. I hired a young man that later on became the director of accounting for Computer Sciences Corporation, a young woman that's a CFO, another young man that's been a CFO a couple of times. So I think the question is, what are you going to do with being in a position of managerialness? And it's passing it forward, and it's helping people for themselves get to the next step. That to me is what it's all about.
Words to live by, Mike. That was fantastic. And thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me today.
You're very welcome. And hopefully we'll all be once together again in the same room and can enjoy our camaraderie.
Amen. Amen.